Join us in congratulating the 2022 Best Practice Award winner for Athlete of the Year, Emily Mason of Parisi Speed School, Flemington, New Jersey. Currently a freshman at Rutgers University, Emily began training at Parisi Speed School when she was in 7th grade and has since gone on to achieve her goal of becoming one of the top U20 soccer players on the U.S. women's national team, winning a host of games and accolades.
And can you tell us about some of her accolades that she's been able to collect over the years?
Sure. How much time do we have? I mean, the kid's pretty much she's done about as much as she can for her current age and level. She started her freshman year in high school. She was a starter for the team. She won a state championship in 2019. That same year, she was the NJ.com State Player of the Year. She was the New Jersey Gatorade Player of the Year, and she was also the 2019 National Player of the Year for girls soccer. And she was also named, and this was back in 2019, she was named to the U20 national team, the women's national team. She actually was starting for them in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. She started in the championship game, had an assist as a 17-year-old on the U20 national team. So she's pretty much done about as much as you can at her age and for the level she's at.
Despite being a naturally gifted athlete, Emily is also gracious, humble, and supportive of her teammates, almost to a fault. In fact, according to Parisi coach Joe Georgiewicz, a big part of her training evolution was gaining the confidence to harness her talent and aggression in the clutch.
Awesome. And where do you think that she's improved the most over the years as an athlete?
From a standpoint of where she's improved the most is just her aggressiveness on the field. Her biggest issue when we first started with her was she didn't want to stand out. She was as good as she was. She didn't want to make her teammates look bad. So we had to work with her on realizing that sometimes the best play she could make was to just take over the game, and just be the best player on the field. So I think a lot of it's been mentally and being more aggressive, being willing to take on a leadership role and really just kind of show what she's capable of.
Sweet.
How did Emily rise to the top and achieve her goals? Focus, discipline, and a lot of hard work.
Talk a little bit about what do you think the number one thing is that makes Emily stand out as an athlete?
Honestly, I would probably go with her discipline. The biggest thing that she's done within our program that I've seen is she shows up. There was one point when she was in her middle school years to her early high school years before her schedule really got a little bit more intense, where if you walked in here on a weekday between 3 and 5 o'clock, you would see Emily. She showed up. She was here 4 to 5 days a week. She would do double sessions. There were times where we had to tell her that she was doing too much and to tone it down. But there were definitely days that, it wasn't her favorite thing to do, to put that extra work in, but she always showed up and she always put the effort in when she was here. And she was willing to make sacrifices that other people weren't in order to get to the level she's at.
As a result, she's become a fierce competitor with a bright future on both the playing field and in life.
She's humble. Don't get me wrong. She knows how good she is, but she will never tell you how good she is. And honestly, I would just describe her as a winner. I mean, whatever team she plays for, they win. Whenever she's on a team, they tend to win a lot of games, and they tend to be right there in the thick of it at the end of the season. So honestly, I don't know if there's enough superlatives. The kid's just, she's a kid you want on your team.
Emily, your outstanding work ethic, discipline, natural talent, and humility make you the kind of athlete we're proud to call a member of Parisi Nation. So again, please congratulate the 2022 Parisi Best Practice Award winner for Athlete of the Year, Emily Mason. You go, girl.